Next we move this section towards right and take it towards left of E and very near to it. Now shear force towards left of E is equal to, as there is no addition of force, it remains same as 60 kN. Next we move this section towards right and take it towards right of E and very near to it. Now shear force towards right of E is equal to, now we see that there is an addition of this small UDL acting for a very small distance since your section is very near to E. So we can consider it 0, so that the shear force towards right of E is same as that of shear force towards left of E, which is 60 kN. Next we move this section towards right and take it towards left of F and very near to it. Shear force towards left of F is equal to, we see that there is an addition of this UDL of magnitude 50 into 4. So we have plus 60 minus 15 into 4, which is equal to 0. Next we see that as we move this section towards point G, there is no addition of force. So shear force towards right of F as well as shear force towards left of G is equal to 0. So with this our shear force calculation is over. Let's draw the shear force variation diagram. So this represents the horizontal line of the beam. On the y-axis we plot the shear force. Positive shear force will be above the horizontal line and negative shear force will be below the horizontal line. And along the x-axis we have the length of beam with the same scale as that of actual beam. Now shear force towards right of A is 0. So at point A your shear force is 0. Shear force towards left of B is minus 90 kN. So at point B we plot minus 90 kN shear force, and the variation of shear force between point A and B will be, as we can see, there is a uniformly varying load of decreasing intensity from point A and B. So the shear force variation will be parabolic such that the slope of the curve will go on decreasing. Next we see that shear force towards right of B is plus 75 kN. So again at point B we plot another shear force of positive 75 kN magnitude and we connect this to point by a vertical line. Next shear force towards left of C is plus 75 kN. So at point C we plot plus 75 kN force and connect it with the horizontal line with point B, denoting that between point B and C shear force remains constant. Now shear force towards right of C is minus 165 kN. So again at point C we plot another shear force of magnitude minus 165 kN and we connect these 2 points by a vertical line. Next shear force towards left of D is minus 165 kN. So at point D we plot minus 165 kN force and we connect it with the horizontal line with point C. This denotes that shear force between point C and D is constant. Now again shear force towards right of D is plus 60 kN. So again at point D we plot another shear force of magnitude plus 60 kN and we connect this with a vertical line. Now shear force towards left of E is 60 kN as well as towards right of E is 60 kN. So at point E we plot plus 60 kN shear force and we connect it with the horizontal line. This denotes that shear force between point D and E is constant. Now shear force towards left of F is 0. So we denote 0 shear force at point F. Now we see that between point E and F we have a UDL. So the variation of shear force between point E and F will be linear, which can be shown by inclined straight line. Next we see that shear force towards right of F as well as towards left of G is 0. That means the shear force variation along this part of the beam FG will be along the 0 line. So with this our shear force diagram is complete. We see that at some region the shear force is positive, whereas in another region along the length of beam the shear force is negative. After this let's do the bending moment calculation.